Welcome to the Hormone Hub, your go-to source for the conversations every woman in her 40s and 50s needs to have. I'm your host, Kylie Pinwell, your nutritionist helping you navigate your way through perimenopause, menopause and beyond so you can say goodbye to the endless fatigue, unexplained weight gain, hot flushes, PMS, mood changes and more that come on this hormonal roller coaster. If you missed the memo or think this is only for women of a certain age, ladies, it's time to think again. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my latest episodes, which are released every week. Share it with your friends, your sweaty sisters. The more we talk, the more we help each other. Hello. Welcome back, ladies, and welcome to the Hormone Hub podcast. And today I am super excited. I have two very special guests. I have Emma and Carla Papas with me. Now, you might know them from the MerryBody App. So yoga, Pilates, body positivity. I've been following these ladies for such a long time, like way back in the Merrymaker days, which I'm sure they will be very familiar to a lot of you, and so excited to have them on the show today. Welcome, girls.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, pleasure. We were just chatting before we went live because Carla's about to get married and Emma has just had this epic trip through Italy. So it was just like me bombarding them with 1,000 questions before we hit live. So welcome, girls. I'm so excited to have you here. And, so tell us a bit about, for those of you who know them, for those of you who would like to get to know them, tell us a bit about yourselves and tell us a bit about, the MerryBody, empire now.
As we said, we're honoured to be here. So thank you so much for having us on your show. MerryBody, in a nutshell, I'm going to quickly tell you about it. So basically it is movement and meditation, but it's movement and meditation driven with the mindset work of self-acceptance, self-confidence, and joy. So it's very different to your usual fitness platform. It's all online, obviously. Not obviously, but obviously to us it is. So very different to your usual fitness platform. However, this all came about because of our own personal journey with diet culture and with an over-exercising mentality. So let's go back all the way back to 2012.
Yeah. So this is going to be something that so many women are going to resonate with.
Yeah.
I love hearing this story because I certainly resonate with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like we all have a similar shared story or just this really negative relationship with diet and exercise in some way or another. And for us, I had developed an eating disorder. I was bulimic. Carla had been dieting since age 11. We grew up thinking that our bodies weren't right. And, not in looking back at photos, no, we were fine. We were definitely healthy and we just had such negative self-worth and we truly connected our worth to the external body. Yeah. And this was, developed through media, reading magazines and whatnot. And gosh, I think about today with social media, it's even more next level. Yeah. So we got to this point and in our early 20s, we were heavily addicted to exercise, I would say. Yeah. It was we had to make sure we were working out an hour or two a day. Yeah. If we skipped a day, we would feel anxious, we would feel bad. Yeah. If we ate too much or overindulged on the weekend, Monday we would punish ourselves in the gym. Yeah. And it was just this ongoing cycle and we didn't feel good inside and really we were not healthy. It wasn't about health, it was about thinness. Yeah. We really didn't care about health. Yeah. We only cared about how much we weighed. We only cared about how many calories were going in and what were going out. And it was entirely totally consuming and obsessing. Yep. And, it got to this point where it kind of reached the peak or the rock bottom, whichever way you want to go. And it was when Carla was on this crazy 12-week body sculpting diet. She borrowed from an actual fitness model. Yep. And of course I joined along as many sisters do. You kind of do things together. And I was like, well, you can't get skinny without me, can you? So we were on this like total obsession with like weigh-ins every day or every Friday. Was the weigh-in every Friday? And it was like, if we didn't lose weight in these 12 weeks each week, we were really disappointed, and, you know, we punished ourselves even more. We got to our goal weights. We were completely underweight. We'd only been eating chicken and broccoli for the 3 months.
Yeah.
So tired. Our periods disappeared.
Yep.
We destroyed our hormones. We didn't even know about the importance of this, or we kind of were like, cool, no period. So this is how out of the loop we were with our bodies.
Yeah.
And we got to this point and we were like, geez, like we think we look really good, but we feel like crap. Yeah. And that was when we discovered paleo, and we went on that path of like, oh, real food, this is important. And although we don't follow any diet now, and although we did get addicted to the paleo diet and it kind of took it down, you know, going back a few steps, it was a part of our healing journey with food and exercise. And then, you know, fast forward, we realized, actually, no, you know what we need to do? We need to self-accept. We need to accept ourselves, and then combine that with good quality produce, a balanced exercise routine, movement, more joy, more happiness. And that kind of just led to MerryBody. It kind of was just like our journey has now been put into an app, and it's such a joy to create these classes and bring it to all the amazing women and, you know, a handful of men, because we have a few. Maybe 3. And some husbands and partners, boyfriends, kids.
I was going to say, because I've been part of the MerryBody community now for probably about 18 months, and so my dog is a big fan. Because he knows that I'm going to be lying on the ground, and, you know, so he's down and up with me as well. So
they're so funny. The dogs are so funny.
Anytime I roll my mat out, like Chino thinks it's for him, so he'll go and like do his downward facing dog, like in his stretch, and then he'll just lie down like right in the middle of it.
No, Chino, what he does, he like rubs his face all over the mat, and I'm like, dude, like, I need to use that mat, and now you put all your slobber all over it. This is not hygienic, you know. Like, but they're so cute. We love them.
No, that's funny. So I guess I first kind of became aware of you guys during the paleo thing. And, you know, like we were saying before we hit record, like I think as a nutritionist, the paleo sort of movement did great things insofar as it brought a really good sort of, I think, general awareness of real food. And I think, you know, it was really positive because it was, you know, we should be eating, you know, whole foods. We should be eating real foods. And I think, you know, it started off as a really positive thing. And then, you know, like so many good things, you know, I think it was picked up by the media and it went way too far. Like it started to then take out whole food groups unnecessarily. And I think at the detriment of, you know, a lot of women, like all of a sudden we've gone from eat real food to, except for, and then it was that restrictive kind of thing. You can't have grains, you can't have legumes, you can't have, you know, I mean, imagine saying to India, for instance, no more legumes for you.
Yeah.
Imagine going to South America and saying no more rice, no more, you know, like it's just crazy when you think about it. So, you know, and I think, you know, Paleo Pete just sort of like topped it off.
100%.
I think everyone knows what I'm talking about here, but, you know, and I think that's where it went too far. And I think, you know, he was very instrumental in doing a great job of advertising it, getting it out to the mainstream, but also then did a great job of killing it in one go as well.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, and I think it's like the rigidness of it, and that whole, like, for me, having like disorderly eating patterns and that obsession with counting calories, like any diet can really be detrimental. I think if you have this really mental aspect with food and things like this is the hard thing, because, you know, then you find this new routine to do and you become obsessed with this.
Yes.
And then you get anxious when you're at your friend's house and you realize, oh my God, like every salad has a bean or a legume, and you're like, I can't eat this. Yeah. And it's like, now I'm like, gee, like I really wouldn't have eaten that back then. Like that's how scared I was of this food. It was like, if I eat this food, I'm going to get inflammation and I'm going to get fat, because I still was obsessed with that. So it's like, focusing on just eating more whole food. And not cutting anything out entirely is so much more beneficial for our mental health. I truly believe that.
Huge. And just that the stress around food. And I think, so I always sort of encourage my clients, eat what makes you feel good. So food should, it should make you feel nourished. So you should actually feel like you've eaten something. Make you feel nourished. It should make you feel lighter. It should make you feel energized. But if you're eating foods that make you feel heavy and sleep, then they're not the right foods for you. You know. So then some people can feel like that after salad. So it's working out what foods work for you, not what foods are on the list that the diet says that you should eat. So
and we're all different. So it's like one diet simply does not fit all humans. Like that's just impossible. And like as you said, like depending on your culture, depending on how you grew up, your food and how you react, and your health obviously, and anything, allergies, whatever you've got, like you need to be conscious of all this stuff.
Very, very individual when it comes to food. And that's why, in my programs, like I've got a 10-day sort of detox thing, that the kickstart that we do, but outside of that, I don't do meal plans, because I want people to sort of explore, get the right balance of nutrients, but also explore what works for them. And, if you've got something like cheese or bread or something that doesn't work for you, but you love it, choose to have it or choose not to, I'm going to eat this and I know I'm going to feel a bit yuck afterwards, but I'll live with it. Or or I'm choosing not to eat it because I know what it will do to me. And I think that's really empowering when you're in control of what you get to choose, And
then it's like, it's very freeing when you make the choice to have that food that maybe once before you didn't allow yourself to have for X whatever reason, whether it is that makes you feel sick, or whether it was on like a no list that you kind of made up in your head, and then you allow yourself to have it with absolutely no guilt. You just allow yourself to enjoy it, because like there's the whole of like not even feeling good like within your actual body, but then it's your mind. Like we, take us back 10 years, we would eat the food that maybe we had restricted ourselves on, but then we would beat ourselves up for a week or two about that one meal. And so it's just like reteaching your mind how to approach food, and realizing that you don't have to feel guilty about it. You can enjoy it, even if it's technically not the best food for your body, like in nourishment wise.
And I think we were talking about Italy before, and their relationship to food is so beautiful. And if you do ever get that experience to observe like an Italian family and how they cook, how they eat, it's truly a beautiful thing. And it's just I guess for me it was like food makes you fat, food makes you skinny. Then it was that whole food is just fuel. Like these messages that we get a lot in Australia, like we're missing the whole magic of food. And like, yes, the magic is that it keeps us alive. Obviously it's healthy. We need it. We depend on it, but it also can bring so much joy and love to our lives. And I think when we start to look at food with more depth, you're not going to go to Macca's and eat Macca's. Because we all know that kind of food is not great for us. If Macca's is your thing and you're like, I don't want to restrict myself, I'm going to eat Macca's. All right, just don't do it every day. All right. But maybe there's a better kind of food that, you could make, and then it's not necessarily healthy, but there's more love in it. There's more like depth to it. There's more richness to it. It brings more, maybe you're cooking with your family and it brings you together. It connects you together. It's not just this like, boom, fast food, in and out, stuff my face, done. Like, I just think that and it's in many cultures, it's not just Italy, of course. It's just my favorite cuisine.
A lot of our favorites.
But like these beautiful cultures, I think I really wish that Australia, we we kind of took more of that, because obviously like we're very multicultural, but I wish that was more a part of our culture. But I think, we can each do that in our own households and in our communities even, because that's the other thing. Like, you go extended lunches and, everyone's bringing plates and it's just like this beautiful thing. And then everyone's talking about the food and, I got it from that farm. I went to a little Tuscan town and I bought this from here and I brought it back for you all. Like that was very, very noticeable. Every gathering I went to, someone would talk about this little olive oil I bought from this farmer, this old farmer, or like, these olives here and these beautiful ingredients. And like, I just don't have those conversations here.
No, we don't have those conversations. And I totally agree with you, because food is what connects us. So whenever we get together with friends, or it's a birthday or Easter or, whatever it is, there's food. Whether it's Friday night and it's a cheese platter, like there's food there. And then, I sort of hear from women all the time, I've got this thing on Friday night with my friends, but I don't think I'll go because I'm not sure what I can eat. I'm like, no, that's not about that. It's about with people that just happens to be over food.
Yes.
And the food is the connector, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a point like in time where we realized like we were saying no to life. Because of these like restrictions we were making. And that was a really big like aha, like hang on a minute, we're saying no to life and we're saying no to experiences because of the fear we're having around food. And that was a really big like, a bit of a moment where we had to take a step back and ask ourselves, like, is this the life we want to live? Like, do we want to continue living day to day like
imagine
this?
if we went to Italy on the paleo diet. Stuff that, honestly.
It's like,
I know. It's just not going to work.
It's like, excuse me, can I have pizza? But do you have a cauliflower base?
But
no, I will say this. I will say that there was so much gluten-free. Like, if you are celiac or like, you really don't want to eat gluten because it makes you feel bad, there was so much great gluten-free food. And like, as we were saying before, Kylie, they don't just eat pizza and pasta. Like some of the best meals I had, I mean, I was there in winter, so there were so many beautiful meats, so many beautiful vegetables, and like very simple but beautiful vegetables, beautiful flavors. So that like you can totally enjoy Italy and be gluten-free.
100%. And then, I've also had clients, I think I don't know if it's the wheat they use or the cooking or whatever, but I've had clients who can go to Italy and France and eat all the bread and eat all the pasta and be totally fine, and then they can't do it here. So
I've heard of so many people.
And that's because they have these traditional methods. They're not skipping to make they're not skipping the steps to make it more efficient or to save money.
Or to make 600 of them in a supermarket.
Exactly. I mean, there's definitely some pastas like Damiano, my partner, he's like obsessed with everything Italy. He's very proud Italian. But he was watching like a report. I mean, I feel like every Italian is a proud Italian. And they were watching a report on pasta and how like some pastas are like quick drying now, like 30 minutes, boom, they dry. But then there's other pastas that are more traditional and they take like the 2 days to dry, and that will help you, like it tastes better and it helps your body digest it better. Same with pizza, like the fermentation. But like this stuff is just so amazing. And I hate that like, the world has become obsessed with speed. It's become obsessed with saving money at the detriment to our health. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like when, we should be also like prioritizing our health. So if it takes longer to make the produce or the whatever the food, like that's time well spent.
100%.
And maybe we can take that message for ourselves in the kitchen, because I've been obsessed with being fast cooking. I love fast cooking, not much time. I'm like, maybe I can appreciate the time that I spend in the kitchen. And I can know that, this time and effort is well spent because I'm going to enjoy a beautiful meal for my health, but like mental, soulful, and connection with the people. So
definitely.
Many good lessons.
Food.
It's
not just food. It's not what's on your plate. It's the meaning and the love that goes behind that. Oh gosh, I love it. This Hormone Hub episode is sponsored by our free Hormone Help Call. On the call, we'll give you some clarity around what's causing your symptoms and the 3 simple steps you can start using straight away. If you're ready to take the next step and find out how we can help you, we can talk about that too. So if you're constantly feeling tired, struggling with weight gain, PMS, mood swings, bloating, not sleeping at night, cravings, anxiety, all the things, we're ready to help. If you're ready to ditch those sugar cravings, regain your energy and shift that stubborn weight, then let us help you balance your hormones, reset your metabolism and get your confidence back so you can live the life you're meant to. The link with the details to our Hormone Help Call is in our show notes or over at kyliepinwell.com. Right, so let's sort of talk about, let's talk about the MerryBody app. And, like I said, I've been sort of with you guys now in your world for about 18 months and I love it.
Yay.
I do wish Emma would learn to count because just 10 more is never just 10 more.
I know. There's at least 15.
Kylie, I try to keep her on track.
Now I know just 10 more means about 50, but But,
oops,
obviously we've got Team Yoga, Team Pilates, and I do enjoy both of you equally, I have to say.
Good answer.
All right. So yes. So which one's better? All right. Now, let me reframe that. If you were starting out, okay, first up, we've got sort of, we're told to exercise. We're told to, do it. And when you were talking before about, your obsession with the hour in the gym and all of that, and and we were taught go hard, go home. There was no point going to the gym if you weren't going to flog your guts out, sweat, vomit, all of the things.
Yeah.
Your heart rate had to be at a certain number. So all of that. So we've kind of moved, and I'm a big believer, and this is where, we're all on the same page here. I'm a big believer in moving your body. I actually, I say to my clients, I actually don't care what you do as long as you move.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who, has come from that high intensity, they're still doing, F45, they're still doing, boot camp, they're still, doing that intensity, but, they're just exhausted and they're needing a sleep later.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we were
that was
totally
us.
Yeah.
And
Me too. Guilty.
and it is I don't want to say the word hard, but it takes time to undo the idea that we have all come, or not all of us, but if you have this idea of what exercise should be, that it should be hours, or it should be no pain, no gain, or that you should be thrashing your body until you can't walk up the stairs. It takes time to kind of unlearn all of that. Like anything, it takes time to learn a new language. It takes time to unlearn something that we've been doing forever and ever and ever. I would say to add, instead of stopping completely, I would just say, let's add something different. For example, let's add a slow beach walk or a slow nature walk, or let's add a 5-minute deep breathing session, or let's add a 10-minute yin yoga session and notice how you feel after those sessions. That would be my thing. I would ask you to check in with how you feel and then perhaps compare how you feel to when you do that really high intensity to how you're feeling after that yin yoga. Are there any differences? And just notice. And there's no right, there's no wrong. You're just noticing. And then my prediction is that you might feel really nourished and calm and grounded after these slower movements, and you might feel really good. And suddenly you might want a little bit more of that, and you might want to start to, every second day it's this what did you call it? Well, I think someone else coined the term, but I really like it, the lit. You might want a little bit more.
Oh, no, I called it
more
that.
Lower intensity training, the lit training rather than
And I think that's what it is. It's not saying, you have to stop. I mean, in some cases, maybe you do have to stop if you're absolutely adrenal depleted and you need to rest. But like, this is the whole point. Like, let's not work ourselves so hard that we get to that point. I think like you can feel it, especially women. Like, so like we're really in tune with our bodies if we allow ourselves to be.
Yeah.
And I could feel it that like, my frequency was too high. Like I was like on the edge, and this faster and like pushing myself. Not only did I actually not enjoy it as well, like I actually dreaded it. I hated it while I was doing it. Only after I'd be like, okay, I'm good now. Like I've ticked that chore off. Now I can be rest assured that I'm okay. I did my 1 hour of crazy, like nearly killed myself workout. Boom, done.
Yeah.
But then you realize that it doesn't actually bring any goodness to your life. And actually you might be doing more damage than good as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like slowly changing your mindset around it and tuning in, as Carla said, and knowing that, again, with food, same thing, that just because Sally's doing this workout, Dan's doing this workout, whoever it is, doesn't mean that's the right workout for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important, knowing that, you're different to everyone else.
Yeah, like we always say, like we don't mind. Like if you want to join MerryBody, give it a try. If you absolutely hate the way that we move inside MerryBody, please don't stay. Like we don't want you to hate movement. We want you to find a way to move that you actually look forward to, that it becomes like a favorite part of your day, because it can be that. It can be. It's just that you haven't found it yet. And like often you have to try different things. And that might be, okay, going for that morning walk, or going to that dance class that you've been wanting to try, or putting on your favorite song and dancing around the house, like with no one else here. Maybe that's your choice of movement. That's great. Maybe
even gardening. That is such a good workout, I swear. Like you're up, down, weeding. I was doing the gardens yesterday and I was like, geez, I'm exhausted from this gardening. This is a hardcore thing.
Yeah. So great. Well, I remember Sean, my husband, like his grandmother, and she would have been about 94 at the time. And she dropped something on the floor and she bent down to pick it up with straight legs, and she just bent down with straight legs and picked it up.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, your flexibility is amazing. And
that is amazing.
She said it's gardening.
Yeah.
And, she said, because I can't squat down anymore. So she said, I bend over. And because she was growing strawberries and she still lived alone, and she still had this amazing veggie patch. And flexibility was incredible. And it was just from that, that function.
Yeah. And this is like, what you hear, like, the blue zones around the world. Like they're not scheduling in their 5-10 kilometer run every day. Like it's this incidental life movement that happens because of what their day looks like. So it's like, they're walking to the market, or they're walking to get their coffee. And like, I love this. I love it when I have a day where like I don't actually plan to move, but I finish the day and I'm like, oh my gosh, all I did was like move around today without even meaning to. And it was just because that was my life choice today. Like I walked to the beach, and then I walked back, and then I walked to get my coffee, and then I walked back. And it's really nice as well to know that your movement can also be that. Like it doesn't have to be this scheduled in thing that you do for an hour. It doesn't have to be something that you go to. It can be something that is just weaved into your life.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we've found with many of our members, because a lot of our members are mums, or like their schedules are crazy and they don't have time for exercise. So that's why we make sure we have like the 10-minute classes. And it's like, you just find the time in your life, in your busy life. It's like, okay, if you have to get up 10 minutes earlier, do that. If you're doing your Pilates or your yoga just before bed, it might not be your preference, but you're getting it done. And then you do the meditation and you're ready for bed.
Absolutely. Without having to go and find a class.
Yeah, exactly.
And get into the schedule of the gym or the centre.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Why I love it so much.
Yeah. And like once you, like, I will say that it takes, again, like learning anything new, it takes a little while to get used to doing your workout at home, or like wherever you might be, if you travel a lot, wherever you are. But then when you find that routine, you find how it works for you, it's like you can't go back. Like I can't go back to like a normal studio anymore, because I'm like, what? 5:30? That's such an awkward time. Like I'm doing things at 5:30. Like I want to get my workout done at 3:30, and no one has a class at 3:30. It's really nice to have the flexibility of knowing that you can do it whenever you want.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because I'll, set my alarm, and sometimes I'll get up straight away and do it. And then other times I'm like, I'm just going to lie here for 10 minutes and I'm not late.
How nice
it's so nice.
Yeah.
I love that too, Carly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm much more like, I just have time to be.
Yes.
Like, because I have less things to rush to.
Yes.
And I mean, look, I'm very conscious of the fact that I don't have children, and I'm like, my life is pretty like I can do what I want mostly.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of spare time, but it's also nice to not feel like I have to get to this class. I don't have to get anywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
I can, and if I feel like having a lazy Saturday morning, which I often do, I find the time later in the day to get on the mat, and it's really like just lovely.
Again,
it's so lovely.
I think it's like, again, this whole freedom, like this freedom away from that regimented of like, I've got to do this 5 times a week, or I've got to show up at 5:30 a.m. every morning and like tick it off. Yeah. It's really nice to like release all of that.
Yes.
And, there's so many things that everyone has to do every day. And as Amy said, like everyone's so busy and has so many things to tick off. It's really nice to just like be a little bit more flexible and fluid with these kinds of things.
Yeah. And I will confess that sometimes, and usually it's my kids that call me out, that I will actually just be sitting on my mat watching you guys do the workout.
We always say that. Like we say,
doing it too.
Yeah.
I think what? I'm sitting still, and because I run around like a manic idiot all day, I'm actually, that's my still time.
Yeah,
so
true.
I actually feel okay just sitting there watching it. And I think because I'm used to hearing your voices in the meditation and hearing, so for me, just to sit, watch you guys do the hard work is actually
that is like the best. I love that. It's so
I like
funny.
it too. And I think that, lots of people will ask us like, how to get motivated. That's like one thing we say, like, just roll out the mat and watch, and sit and just watch.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to do it. Like take the first deep breath with us.
Yes.
And maybe the last deep breath with us. And like, that is so enough.
Beautiful,
I would much prefer you to like sit and have a moment than feel like you're like, rushing or like, pushing yourself to like some point where like it doesn't feel good. I think that these moments of stillness, they're so limited in our lives that they're so important. So like if you are having time and making time for them, like that's a winning streak.
Yeah, 100%. Just calm that nervous system. So
I'm sure you would see that's like I don't know, is that what you see like most of the time? It's like everyone's stress levels are just extreme.
Yes. And the ladies, sort of that are listening today, and the ladies in our audience and my clients, it's, and your friends, you would see it in your clients as well. It's that constant go, and it's the next thing. So to actually, I think as women, we're very capable, and we just take on more, and we take on more, and we take on more, and we don't stop to breathe, and we don't stop to
just be. We were just talking about this, how capable women are. Our friend just had a baby. Yeah. And we were kind of asking like, oh, how's the partner going? Like, is he doing lots, blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of said, yeah, he's been amazing. And then she kind of said, oh, but, I just do so much more. Yeah. And it's because she's so good at it. So she just does it, Yeah. And I think this is what.
We're terrible delegators.
Yeah. We just, and because perhaps maybe we think we're better, which probably we are.
There's
we
a control freak element in there as well.
And it's like we end up doing it all, and we wonder why we're so bloody tired. And also because we probably have seen our mothers, grandmothers do everything too. So it's, there's a whole other level to it.
Yeah. But it's good to bear in mind that, yes, they did it all, but it's likely that they weren't working in a full-time job. Well, so
very true. Yeah. Very
so
true.
We've kind of stepped up and we're doing the whole thing. But at the same time, we're running, we've got busy careers and jobs and businesses, all the things. So
so asking
for
help,
too much stuff.
Yeah, asking for help, absolutely ask for help. And it's like, we have to learn that those moments of like, maybe it's just 2 minutes of the deep breaths, like they are actually so important, and they make such a difference. Even though it feels like it's just 2 minutes, what is that going to even do?
Yeah.
It does. Like 4 deep breaths makes a difference.
100%. A huge, enormous.
It's like, and then that's also like, it allows you to be like, okay, well, that's doable. I can take my 4 deep breaths and and know that is a great thing that you're doing for yourself. But yes, sometimes it's very easy to forget.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We don't remember until we get that little reminder. So all right, ladies, this has been a great conversation. I'm sure we could just keep talking.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
But you do have a giveaway for our listeners.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us a bit about that?
It's the Mood Lifter Fusion class.
Oh, yes. I was like, which one are you doing?
Yes,
what are we giving away?
Because Emma filled out the form that you sent us. So I'm like,
you're like, did we do this? Yes, we did.
Yoga and Pilates fusion class.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice balanced class. It's actually one of our members' favorite classes. Whenever we schedule it into the plan, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I forgot how much I love this class."
And I'm in such a good mood now.
Yeah, and it's a combo of yoga, Pilates, and you just feel grounded. You feel accomplished after it. You feel strong.
It's 26 minutes. So it's one of our kind of longer classes, but it's very, very doable. Yep. And I mean, everyone loves it because it starts with those helicopter arm things. Yeah. So it's like this kind of breath with relaxed movement, and it just feels good. So if you're feeling a bit of tension in your body, this class is for you. If you're feeling a bit like flatness, I don't know, life is a bit right now, this class is perfect. It'll really lift you up physically and mentally and soulfully.
Yes, perfect.
There's a link that you're going to say.
There is a link. It's a long link though. So I feel like it's going to be in your show notes.
The link will 100% be in the show notes.
Like, who made that URL? Oh, we did.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of mine are shockers as well. But, ladies, if you would like to, if you've been looking for a reason to roll out your mat, we've just given you the perfect class. It's free. We'll put the link to that in the show notes. And we'll also you can find the girls on Facebook at the Merrymaker Sisters and also on Instagram at the Merrymaker Sisters. And, I'll also pop the link on their website as well. And there's more information there where you can have a look at the MerryBody App. I highly recommend it. It is sort of like your little yoga Pilates personal trainer in your pocket.
Thank you so much for having us.
Classes. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. And it's been a great conversation, and I'm sure we're going to get some great feedback on the class that you've gifted to our listeners. So thank you.
Yay. Our pleasure. Yeah, if you want to let us know how you go, we'd love to hear from you. Like, DM us on Instagram, tell us all about it, because it's really nice to get that feedback and to see you guys doing the class. Like, it will take you from blah to That's what we always say.
Yeah, it does. Honestly, it's a great way to start the day. All right, thanks, girls, and thank you for being on the show. And I will no doubt catch up with you both very soon.
Yes, thanks,
Absolutely.
Kylie.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. You can head on over to the show notes at kyliepinwell.com/podcast, where you'll find all the links, and I have a little bonus surprise waiting for you. Before we go, it would mean the world to me if you head on over to your favourite podcasts channel, subscribe and leave a review. Make sure to screenshot it, DM it to me so I can thank you personally. Then stay tuned for next week's episode. Can't wait to see you then.